Welcome to this video demonstration of our project, the Rubik's Cube Auto Solver based on a Firebird V5 robot. Well, to begin with, we're showing you a bit about our image processing module, which involves us using the webcam of any laptop, for that matter, to scan the faces of the cube in a predetermined order. Once this is done, this allows the computer, which would then analyze the faces and identify which colors are present on those faces, to then create a digital recreation of the cube, upon which all operations would then be carried upon.
What we have done is associated each face with a given color, considering how the middle faces never change. So for us, up white always remains up, front always remains right. And what we have tried to ensure is that each color now starts becoming associated with the face that it actually is from, and that is a representation that we have based our entire model upon.
Yes, as you can see, the faces have to be turned in a specific order largely because of our coding constraints. But now that all the faces have been scanned, the output has been displayed, and the output is in a format where we first show you the two representations of the cube, and then we show you the moves that would be required to actually solve the cube. So initially it was our first 48 character representation, which is a single contiguous array. Then we're using the Sigmaster notation for representing the cube, after which we have this the code which would be used to solve the cube, the set of moves which would be used to solve the cube.
All the solving is carried out using the Thistlewaite's algorithm, and this represents the final solution that we've procured.
Yeah. Now comes bootloading this solution onto the robot. Basically, what we have is a small string array which is in the program for the Firebird. All we need to do there is input the steps obtained from the previous program and then bootload the program onto the robot. As you can see in the video, we will now be building the file and then using the AVR bootloader to bootload this code, the hex code specifically, onto the Firebird.
What we have done is convert the solution that we've represented here in terms of movements of the Firebird. The movements of the Firebird are highly restricted, considering that we're using only one servo motor, as you can see right here. So what we have done is convert each movement in terms of the standard orientation that we've already specified to you, and specify those rotations in terms of the constrained movements that the Firebird can now execute.
Well, obviously, given the fact that we have to build a very makeshift arrangement for this, you would realize from the video that there are a lot of adjustments that we still need to make during runtime. This is largely because of the fact that the wheel of the Firebird is in itself not very stable, and it has inertial movements which does not allow us to find the exact time for a 90-degree or a 180-degree rotation. Nevertheless, we have continued with the project with the aim that if we could get something close to complete automation, that would in itself be a very big achievement.
As you can see right here, human intervention is needed for us to orient the cube in the correct manner and ensure that the movements can be carried out smoothly. But our success rate is pretty efficient. In a general solving algorithm of around 30 moves, I guess we would require around 4 to 5 human interventions, beyond which the solving does occur flawlessly.
Just a few more moves for the cube to be solved.
And as you can see here, these are the movements that are possible by our bot. It primarily consists of three movements. As you can see here it's the flip, where the orientation just changes clockwise, and basically the face that's at the bottom changes. The other is the free rotate, and which basically changes the orientation of the front face that is facing the mechanical arm, and the whole rotate, which actually changes the orientation of changes the bottom face, which actually presents a change in the actual orientation and the positioning of the cubelets with respect to each other. The other two movements only change the orientation of the cube. The whole rotate actually changes the orientation of the cubelets with respect to each other.
Well, the previous demonstration, you probably did see the fact that the cube was entirely solved. Now this is a video of what we carried out in the lab as a live demonstration to the TAs and the students around us. So, well, given the fact that any normal algorithm actually takes around 30 to 35 moves to solve the cube, and it also involves significant human intervention, what we have shown you here is the fact that even on scanning random faces, we are still able to generate a solution that gives us the final cube on its application, as well as the fact that the robot can actually implement these moves, at least for short durations of time without major errors. So as you can see over here that the image processing module has just completed, and yes, the representations and the moves required to solve the cube are displayed on screen. And this is how it actually worked in the lab. This is just a small snippet of what actually happened, but it kind of gives you an idea of what we intended to do with this project and what is actually happening over here.
And although we haven't depicted the entire solution over the duration of 10 minutes with some human intervention, this bot is more than capable of solving the entire cube.
Well, that's all that we actually have to say. We hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you.